What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is Nuff of the Week time, our round 9 edition for 2025. And look, there's no one else you could really look at. I mean, this has been a phenomenal round of football. There's been some incredible acts, some incredible football played, lots of positive stories everywhere, but there's been one negative one under the spotlight for many, many days now. And it turns out it involves the Geelong Football Club, it involves the Essendon Football Club, it involves the Western Bulldogs, and it, of course, involves Port Adelaide. I am, of course, talking about Willie Rioli. Now, there's a lot of cultural discussion back and forth when it comes to this whole drama, and I don't really want to wade into that. I'm not a racist person, and I have no intentions of giving anyone who acts that way any sort of access to my time. It's kind of trash behavior. Some of the stuff that I've seen online, woefully disrespectful. And for someone, there's many people out there who will celebrate their favorite Indigenous players on their team, but will then make horrifically racist comments towards people, people from other teams. It's just shit. And I don't really want to cop any of that. And so I've largely tried to avoid the overall conversation about this topic simply because it's kind of dangerous waters for the most part, that you can come in there with good intent and things kind of go awry. Well, I've decided to kind of enter the realm in the end anyway, because my concerns aren't with the football club. It's not about background. It's not about on-field footballing behavior. It's about a lack of respect for your fans, for your audience, for yourself, for your football club. There's so many parties here that are kind of being disrespected by Willie Rioli and his recent actions. And so I want to pick through that in this Nuff of the Week this week. And I want to be respectful. I want to be careful. I want to be to the point at the same time, because this is it's a tricky subject, as anything is these days that we kind of discuss on this show. There's nuance. It is never as simple and black and white as you would ever want it to be. We can't just have a very A to B outcome. There's always murky waters along the way, and we're going to pick through all of it. Like I said, it's a very tricky topic, so bear with me here as we get into what Willie Rioli had to say in his statement published via the Port Adelaide Football Club. All of that after a word from our sponsor. Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's get into what Willie Rioli published, or what the Port Adelaide Football Club published, that Willie Rioli said about his recent behaviours that have been fairly heavily documented. We'll talk about the AFL and where they come into this, the responsibilities of the different clubs. It includes the Geelong Football Club in this scenario as well. And I again want to put it out there. There's been so much conversation about race in this thing, and it's just not relevant. It's just not relevant. What I really want to hone in on here is some, I don't know if it just amounts to poor wording or a lack of deeper soul searching from Willie when it comes to this particular scenario, because there's one line here that really caught my eye and perhaps shows to me that perhaps he doesn't understand the significance of his behaviors. So let's talk a little bit about it here. And again, any of those racist bad actors, get out of here. I'm not on your side. You're awful. Stop wasting my time. This morning, I informed the club that I had withdrawn from Saturday night's showdown. Obviously, this was published before the game against the Crows on the weekend. With all the stress from this week, I feel it's best for me and the team that I take a break. I again acknowledge that my actions after last weekend's game against the Bulldogs were totally unacceptable. I apologise to Bailey Dale on Monday, and I want to publicly apologise again for the stress my actions have caused. And up to this point, I'm going, fantastic. That is you recognising a problem and getting on the front foot to address it. And we'd kind of heard through reporting that he'd gone and apologised already, and that he'd taken these steps. But it's with the next line here that I started to get a little bit wobbly and think maybe this apology is a little more half-hearted and perhaps just simply because you had to than we first realised. It says, I say things from time to time on the footy field in the heat of the moment, and I wish I didn't, and I'm continuing to work with the club on managing this moving forward. Now, let's not lose sight of the fact that, of course, there's been some on-field actions. We've seen it against Geelong. We believe it's occurred against Essendon. There's been on-field action, and I'm sure this scenario with Bailey Dale began on-field as well. There was that kind of little bit of behind the play boxing on between the two of them. But my greater concern here, and I think the thing that should be more of a concern to the AFL, honestly, I know they're so concerned about their image and what they put out there for people to see, where it's most visible on the TV screen or at the ground. But for me, the biggest concern here is the fact that he in no way addresses the online component. The fact that he sent a threat. He talks about in the field of play, in the heat of the action. I can respect someone. Well, not respect, but like I can understand how someone in the heat of the moment can maybe step over a line from time to time. We've seen it with players. They've either said horrible things, not that I think it's okay, but they've said horrible things, or they've hit someone, or Barry Hall, Andrew Gaff. We've seen horrible, stupid acts from players on the football field from time to time. It happens, and white line fever is a thing, and people get a bit carried away. The energy of the moment, and they do something they regret. Understand all of that. Willie's done that himself. What I don't like, and what I want to pick the teeth out of here with this statement, is the fact that he addresses on-field actions, and that he gets a bit carried away and he needs to work on that. No, Willie. Let's think about the comments you made about, now we here at the Hoops Crew don't like Hawthorn, but the commentary around the Hawthorn Football Club, the vitriol that you published there, then the threats that you sent Bailey Dale. These weren't in the heat of the moment. You had time to calm down, to cool yourself, compose yourself, and you still chose to make threatening comments or abrasive and disrespectful comments, depending on the circumstance we're talking about here. And that, when he says it's not in my true nature or character to say those things, and I apologize for any distress I caused the individuals or their families, that's where I go, really? This is where I think Willie potentially needs to do some deeper soul searching and actually reflect on not just his on-field stuff, but his off-field stuff too. Because to me, he's only addressing one half of the problem here. And for me, it's probably the less important half. There's an aggression here that underpins both the on-field stuff that we've seen and this off-field commentary, this social media commentary. And for all this talk recently about, Jamari Ugle-Hagan and needing to get off social media for his partying actions and those sort of things, he's just a kid that's partying a little bit too hard. This is a guy that's making threats online. And for me, that's a far greater concern. And I think for Willie and those that love him, should be a far greater concern as well. Now, I, of course, wish Willie Rioli well. Want nothing but the best for the guy. Hopefully, he gets the support he needs, that he's able to do the soul searching he requires to rectify these behaviors and come out a better person for it. There's so many wonderful things that AFL clubs offer individuals that you or I could never get access to. In terms of psych help, in terms of physical health assistance, all sorts, let alone the bucket loads of money that they earn as players. There's wonderful opportunities that come from being an AFL player. And right now, I'd see no greater opportunity in Willie's life than to go and reflect on these behaviors, both the on-field and the off, and go and seek some help. Because, I'll speak about like different types of issues that have been in my life. And the best thing I did after many years of kind of being in denial, putting my head in the sand, the best thing I did was go and see a professional for a bit of help. And the quality of my life has improved. The quality of the relationships I have with the people most important to me has improved. I have no regrets. And I'm not saying they're the same issues and challenges, but the support of an expert makes so much difference. And you've got the resources right there at the click of a finger to go get them. So please take advantage of it. That's where we'll wrap things up for this episode of Nuff of the Week. It's perhaps a more somber sort of tone. It's a tricky conversation to wade into because of just some horrible bad actors on the side. So hopefully you were able to pass through this and I guess catch a hold of what I was really trying to achieve with this video. If you did, please consider sticking around, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends. Let's engage in a really responsible conversation around this. And hopefully more of this stuff continues in the future. If you enjoyed the video, please consider checking out our Patreon. That's patreon.com/thehoopscrew. You can check out all the stuff that we offer there. There's exclusive content, early access content, and exclusive early access and extended content for you to go check out. There's a 7-day free trial to see if it's for you. And if you enjoy it, for the cost of $5 or $6 per month, that's the cost of one coffee, you can subscribe and continue to get that awesome stuff delivered directly to your email inbox. You'll find me at Paul James Games on social. That is Instagram, that is Blue Sky, and that is Twitter. And you'll find the Hoops Crew at the Hoops Crew. Until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. Willie Rioli, you're enough. Fix it, please, for the benefit of everyone around you. I'll see you later.